parkway in my automobile, trying to get back to my pappy's corn liquor steal. Soon as I crossed that Buncombe County line, something in the air blew my podcast up high. It was the wisdom from the chicks in the city sticks, and I knew right then it was gonna be my fix. No need for white lightning to get my start. It's hey Lord, have mercy, Hannah, bless your heart. Wardy, yeah, you know what I mean. It's not strange, take it from me. Wardy, come and listen to see weird mountain gals on the Wardy. Up on Weird Mountain, they've been getting their kicks, jamming on the porch just to hit and mash. Stirring up the pot, that's what they do best. They can dish it out till there ain't none left. W-Y-R-D, yeah, you know what I mean. No, it's not strange, you can take it from me. W-Y-R-D, so come and listen to see weird mountain gals on W-Y-R-D. Well, I finally found my pappy's corn liquor steal. Filled up the jug and had to hit the trail. Gotta get back to the cottage in the Mashville woods, to the weird mountain gals neighborhood. W-Y-R-D, yeah, you know what I mean. It's not strange, you can take it from me. W-Y-R-D, come and listen and see weird mountain gals on W-Y-R-D. It's them weird mountain gals on W-Y-R-D. It's them weird mountain gals on W-Y-R-D.
Do you consider yourself normal? Then this is not the show for you. Please go somewhere else. This is WYRD. If it's getting weird, it's got to be the Weird Mountain Gals show. You're listening to Byron and Alicia, the Weird Mountain Gals.
It was hard in the doing of it, but I didn't realize how far down it had knocked me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, till I started getting a little more rest, and I cut back my schedule considerably.
That's.
yeah.
I noticed last year that you were really going. You know, you.
Yeah,
really,
it was, and part of it was that book, Feral Church, because I was driven, and I, no complaints about that, but yeah, it was to do a full touring schedule, right, and the book, and travel out of the country, and have surgery, and have all that partial plate tooth stuff.
Yeah.
It was too much. It was just too much. So
Yeah.
I find myself now, I'll be like, I don't know why you're so tired. You didn't do nothing today. Well, I probably worked 10 hours, and probably a few hours of that was physical labor. Then I had the stress of all the other stuff I did. So I'm still catching up a little bit. I really am.
Yeah. And I was thinking about this the other day too. It's a cliche, and I've heard so many females say this, that, you work from the time you get up until the time you go to bed. And it's cliche for a reason, though. It's because a lot of people are going through it, a lot of us. And I was thinking about it because I was grateful to be able to do work. Okay. I've been not able to for a while. And when I have these good days where I can go and be productive, I love it. I love it. But it was from the time I got up until the time I went to sleep. And, nobody noticed. Not that that's the requirement for me to do anything, but still, nobody noticed. It wouldn't have mattered if I hadn't done anything all day, except maybe somebody would have said, "What's the matter with you?" Or something. But I could do that every day, every single day, from when I got up until I went to bed. I could work and fill my day with work. There's always work to be done, something to be done. And that's something that I'm dealing with, trying to not feel guilty when I don't spend my day as productive as I have in the past. So,
Yeah, well, that's a big thing, isn't it? The guilt. Feeling guilty.
yeah, I'm a competitive person. I know you're totally in shock over that, but I was a competitive person in business. I love to, excel in my jobs and all of that. And I find myself all the time being critical of my own self because I'm not able to get up after 5 hours of sleep and clean something and cook something and then go to work at the first job, you see. And then I would maybe go get something to eat and then go to the second job.
Yeah.
And that was my life for all those years. And in between that, I would sleep sometimes. And my thing I would say is, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And I cannot, or I won't allow myself, even if I could, I wouldn't allow myself to work like that anymore. It's out of balance. But the thought that, oh gosh, what kind of work ethic do you have? You're not working right now. You're not working a 12-hour day. You're not. So you better just get busy and do this and dust that and mop this other thing. And, I deal with that all the time, wanting to do it,
No,
wanting to do everything.
I get it. I get it. And in my world, because I am at my lowest adult weight right now. So
Oh,
my whole life I've been a fat gal.
oh,
And one of the things about being fat is that you cannot also be seen to be lazy.
no.
That's the thing the culture lays on us. It's like, well,
Yep.
it's no wonder you're so fat because you don't do anything.
Right.
So you are given these hidden and sometimes not so hidden messages about how it is you are allowed to exist as a fat person. And
Right.
one of the ways you are allowed to exist is if you are seen to work harder than everybody else. Then you've
Yep.
earned your keep, I guess, is the way they looked at it.
I guess that's what it is. But what you're saying definitely is a thing. I mean, I've witnessed it. I've been part of it before, I wouldn't eat in public for years. Did you know that? Or rarely, I would say. I would eat a little, but I would never, ever eat something that wasn't healthy if I was in public. Ever. And most of the time, I just didn't eat. Like I'd go to
No,
these,
I get you. Yeah, no, same.
yeah,
And the
I'd go to
idea
these
that I would,
chamber functions. There'd be
yeah,
food all over the place. And it's like, nope, nope, nope. I wouldn't,
yeah.
wouldn't. So,
Well,
what?
and I remember birthday cakes. Those big, horrible sheet cakes that came from a grocery store somewhere. And
Yes.
what I wanted was the corner piece with the rose on it. That's what I
Oh, yeah.
wanted.
Oh, yeah.
But I always would just take whatever was given to me, which was usually a piece from the middle that had a
Yeah.
little slim bit of writing on the top. And the cake, of course, is almost always dry and
Hmm.
inedible. Well, of course, that's better for me now that I eat in a pretty healthy way. I just think, oh my God, all those ice and roses you ate that don't come back to haunt you, girl. But that's what I wanted. But I knew I did not have the right to ask for that. And that
Right.
if I
Exactly.
did ask for it, I would be shamed for it.
That's exactly right. Yeah. It was always that kind of a thing. And whether complimentary or not, whether you were the person that they were commenting on, "Ooh, you look good," or the other way around. That has always been a thing. And a long time ago, I decided I would not participate in that. And I don't. And I try not to let things like that bother me. But boy, things still bother me. I can tell. What is this? 20 confessions today, I guess.
Oh no, not confessions.
Yeah. Nothing, no real confessions, because that would break the airwaves. So,
That's what we're going to do 20 years from now.
oh, real confessions. Yeah.
Oh, it'll be a whole different kind of media experience, I'm sure. And we'll just be all right. I'm gonna tell y'all what I've been doing, so just hang on to your
Yeah.
drawers.
Well, you know, I've been thinking a lot about the legacy of the podcast. Not that it's any big deal to anybody, but it's in digital form, and in theory, that means it can go on and on and on and on and on. So I've been spending some time thinking about, well, what do we do? And this is a body of work at this point. When you hit 250 of them, you could say this is a body of work. So what I've been thinking about doing is putting them all in a place somewhere so that they're around. Anyway, we'll see. That's all work. And to me, it's fascinating to learn about it. So with this pretty weather, I've been jonesing to get back out to your porch and just trying to come up with any reason to get out to your porch. And I do have some reasons. I've got 3 big old cases of candles for you or the temple or whoever. They came from someone cleaning out their mother's house. So, and that's all the candles that she had, Christmas candles, and and so it's hard for this person to do the cleaning. But I was wondering if maybe one of these nights, if you have time, and that's a laugh, isn't it? But I'd love just to hang out on the porch a bit. And just
that'd be great. That'd be great. But as I recall, madam, we were going to do that yesterday.
I know
Day before yesterday.
Yeah, and then we had the big wind. Our internet went up and down and up and down. I could have survived without the electricity because this laptop had a good battery life. But I need to have that internet. We can't communicate without it. And
that
so,
internet. That internet. It's important.
That internet. Yes, I get on that internet. And talk to you now with that internet instead of the phone lines. So the party line.
Party line. My friends that are coming in today, they're going to spend one night here.
Yeah.
Just so we can hang out and, talk and giggle and whatever, shenanigans. Yay. And then they're going to go hang out at Wyrd Mountain for about 3-4 days.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And I feel like I want to make a list of the things at Wyrd Mountain to hand to people who stay there. All right, number 1, ain't no TV. Number 2, ain't no internet. If you need you some internet, you're going to have to go down the road a piece and order you a cup of coffee over at the Atlanta Bread. Number 3, don't turn on the oven without taking all the cast iron pans out of it, because the smell will be horrific. Number 4.
Not to mention the heat. And number 4,
exactly.
If at 3 a.m. you hear something trying to claw its way up from the ground to you, it's a groundhog. Just don't let it bother you.
Yes, exactly. I warn them about the critters.
Yeah.
You may hear a bear, you may hear a groundhog, a mouse may scurry through at some point. But the important thing for you to remember is this. Just assume that whatever sound you hear is an animal, because you're living in a cottage in the woods, and not an errant spirit that has come to check out who is sleeping in their bedroom.
And why somebody moved something on the altar.
Yep, exactly.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. When we had the beach house, we had a little, or when mom and dad had the beach house, they had a little booklet when you first came in and people could sign it if they felt like it, but it basically gave the kind of the house rules and some tips and stuff, and it was really helpful. It really was. So I helped put it together. I remember being so proud of myself. We put menus in there, and we put tips about the tides and what you were allowed to do as far as getting on the dunes and stuff like that. So, you ready to go to the beach?
That is a really good idea,
Mhm.
is to put some menus from local restaurants in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's so it was easy to do. It was easy to do. Nowadays you could do all of it with a QR code, but who wants to do that? Not at that cottage. Miss Revis would say, no, thank you. That was another thing I meant to do and didn't. I meant to document all of the just unexplainable to some people and totally explainable to other people things that happened that I knew about at that cottage. Because you're right about, if you hear a noise, you hope it's an animal. And
Yeah.
I would also I would tell them to make sure don't sleep with your back door open at the cottage. I've done that, okay, but hindsight tells me that was not the smartest thing to do. But especially if there's a yummy smell of food anywhere in the place, and if you're throwing away trash and it has any yummy food smells, you need to make sure and do it right when the trash guy is coming, because if you leave it in your trash can, a critter will come and knock over your trash can and eat it. And by critter I mean bear. There will be a bear that comes along.
Well, here is the funny thing about that to me, is that I never put that out in the garbage unless it is garbage day. Like right now, there's some garbage in there, but it's where I was cleaning up yesterday. So it's old papers and paper towels and, stuff like that. It's going to smell like Windex and stuff. It's not going to attract a bear. But other people were not so careful. And there's been more than one occasion when I've gone out there and found somebody else's bag of trash in the backyard that they've drug over to our place because it's safe over there. Nobody's going to yell at them over there. They're just going to look out the back door and go, oh, look, there's a bear.
Yep. And but there are definitely quite a few bears in that area. Didn't you and I see one in the broad daylight one time? We were just sitting on the porch or something.
Deer. We were sitting on the porch when the deer ran by.
It wasn't a bear?
No, it was a deer. I mean, I have seen a bear down there, and probably you have too, but I think when we were together on the porch, it was actually that deer. And we both looked at each other like, well.
Yeah. Wonder if it's being chased by a bear.
Speaking of mysterious animals at Wyrd Mountain, guess who appeared yesterday?
Freddie Mercury?
Freddie Mercury.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yep.
I bet, can he even walk? I mean, he's old and arthritic by now, isn't he?
Well, I was leaving after I'd done some cleaning, and he was heading towards the porch, I guess, to sit in his chair.
And watch bird TV.
Harass the birds, yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what he used to do. He would never try and get up in the nest that I saw anyway. He would just, they weren't tasty little bunnies. I think that's what he prefers.
Yeah.
He has a taste for rabbit stew.
Then the storms decided to rip through here like they did.
Did
y'all have any damage down where you are?
No, but we really should have, honestly, with the way the wind was going. And I had some petunias that ripped the flower apart a little bit, some of the wind, but because that was some absolutely insane wind. And of course, the rain was sideways for quite a bit, but no, that was really, I couldn't see any big damage. Did you see it was like softball size hail or baseball size hail out in
Uh,
Barnardville
with the spikes,
with the
the one
spike?
it had spikes on it, like a mace, like a Victoria.
Ooh.
Yeah. Go on my page because I did lifted a picture I think from WLOS
Mm.
and put it on there. But yeah, and there were a bunch of well, I don't know about a bunch, but 3 or 4 that I've heard of farms that they lost everything. They lost
Mm.
every crop they'd planted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Man, and
terrible.
that's terrible.
I mean, it's early enough in the season, depending on what you grow, that you can replant. But
Yeah.
the expense of that and just the heartbreak of it, I can't imagine.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
yeah, I was looking out the back door day before yesterday, when it had just started up here. And I thought I could see little bitty bits of hail, but it wasn't anything like what happened out at Barnardsville. I've
Well,
in my life, I've never seen a storm like that in May.
I haven't either, and I don't know what it would mean. I saw you were doing a live, and you just spent just a little bit of time tromping around in your yard so that people could see the wind and everything
Yeah.
when it was coming in. And I thought, wow. I mean, it was an impressive storm, to say the least. Uh, I know that Ilsa actually texted me to tell me that that we were going to be hit by this storm. And I really appreciated it
Well,
too,
bless
to
her
tell you the truth.
heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, bless her heart.
They're still looking for the perfect place to live and to move to. So we don't know what is going to end up there. I'll just put it out there, y'all, if you know anybody who's got a place for sale and it maybe has a little bit of acreage with it, not too much, you can find Ilsa. She's the queen of the weirdlings. And maybe that could help her out. I
Hmm,
like that, Queen of the Weirdlings. That's a great title.
I do too. That's real good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
bless her heart.
uh, but it looks like their move is on. Their packing has not just begun, but it's in process. And so that should be happening. We got a lot of things going on. We had a gal who told a story about a haunting. Did you see that on the Weirdling
I
page?
did see that. That was fun.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, actually. I'd like to see more of that. Yeah, if anybody has got some stories that they want to share, I love that stuff.
Well, and I loved when he said that his wife said if that it had happened in the new house, they were going to move.
Yeah. Yep, I do
She'd already
too.
made that decision. We ain't living with that. It's
Yeah.
funny because some people, and I think it's kind of a truism about Appalachia that many of us feel like we have lived in generationally haunted places, and that's just where we live. So, well, what are you going to do about it? It's where I live.
I didn't realize it was such a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, until I read something about it or heard something about it, and then I remember thinking, well, yeah, that is the way it is around here, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, we joked for years at my grandmother's that uh, Mrs. Brown was the what we called the ghost, but yeah, there was definitely a ghost in that house.
mhm.
Now that it's
Well,
been renovated and it's worth $1 million, I wonder if the ghost has just gone, I don't know. I don't
uh,
like this new house. I liked the old house
there's
and
a
gone
pop
away.
there's a popular TV show that called Ghosts. That's the name of it. And it's got all of these ghosts that have died through the years at this big old house, Gothic Victorian house. And it's actually pretty hilarious. I've watched a couple of episodes of it. And they managed to have Native American and their characters are not not all good or bad. They're just funny. They've got a Victorian woman and her philandering husband. The basement is full of souls that just are down there kind of singing and moaning. You know?
Oh, golly. Well,
And
that
they've got
sounds
a,
kind of interesting.
yeah, it's hilarious though. And it is kind of interesting. They've got a guy in a Boy Scout suit because you're wearing whatever you had on at death is what you're wearing, and so he's got an arrow through his head, I think, where
Oh,
you've got. Yeah. And then they've got a very shallow guy from probably the 90s, and he's only got on half of his suit. He was naked, maybe in his underwear or something from the waist down, just stuff like that. And they get into all kinds of just mischief with it. And the gal who is the owner of the place can see and hear them and interact with them. And the husband understands that they're there. He totally knows that they're there, but he can't see or interact with them, at least so far in what I've watched. It's pretty funny. Yep. And mostly if I want some dark comedy, I just turn on CNN or something like that. You know. How about you?
I tell you what, recently, the thing that has been so disappointing to me is public radio and public television.
Mm-hmm.
Because I expect my talking heads, my newsreaders, whatever you call them, the show hosts, I expect them to be able to pronounce any of the words they are saying.
They should be able to, yeah.
Yeah. Now, for some reason, I'm willing to give them a pass over at WLOS because ain't none of them seem very bright, to be honest. So when they are from somewhere else and they don't understand that here, Barnardsville is pronounced Barnardsville. It is not pronounced Barnardsville. You know, I'm gonna give them a pass because probably nobody told them, and you know they've got a lot they've got to keep in their heads, and being on camera live is, you know, blah blah blah, all that stuff. I even at this point, when they mispronounced, when Mimi Cecil died and they mispronounced her name as Mimi Cecil, because
Oh boy.
they didn't know enough about this community to know the people who own the Biltmore house. Now, I know literally they do not own it anymore. However, Cecil, my friend Cecil. So I'm willing to overlook some things with local yokels. And if they were yokels, they could pronounce Barnardsville. But I expect National Public Radio and public television.
Yeah.
I expect before those suckers go on the air, they go through their script and they go, whoa, this is, I don't know this word. I don't know how to say this name. And they're going to get somebody to tell them how to say it. That's all.
Because
I want them to not make me gag because a grown up, seemingly educated person can't pronounce that word. Because if you can't pronounce it and don't use it, then maybe you shouldn't use it. And I know, God, sorry, I'm ranting right now. And I know because I myself have done it, is that sometimes we only know a word because we've read it. We've read it in a book or a magazine or whatever. And so we don't necessarily know how it's pronounced. But we are not professional people pronouncing words.
No, we're not.
So, end of rant. And you're welcome to cut that out if you want to.
Well,
but golly, it burns my biscuits.
I may join you on that. And when they pronounce and they drop out their consonants at the end, like I didn't see that.
I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't. What is that? What is didn't? It's not a word. Didn't. That's what it sounds like. So yeah, these youngsters need to get off my lawn.
Well, and I'm sure those same people that say didn't and wouldn't would make fun of the way we say words too. So you know it matters not, I suppose.
Yeah,
But
you're right.
by God, if you don't know how to pronounce the Cecils, who are one of the largest whose company is one of the largest employees in the county, then you're
Yeah.
just ignorant. Ignorant.
Yes, I would agree. People are ignorant and they don't know it. I'm probably ignorant because I don't think
Well,
I am.
that's kind of the definition of ignorant, isn't it? You just don't know it.
Yes.
Like, well, I didn't know that. Golly.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Well, I want to get out in the woods a little. And so this day looks like it's going to be a good one to do that.
Go do
Uh,
it.
yeah, I want to be one of those ignorant people who stay out in the woods all the time.
I love being in the woods.
Oh my gosh.
Have you been following all that stuff about meeting a man or a bear in the woods?
I have. What's your opinion?
I, I just find it hilarious. And as
Mhm.
somebody who has spent a fair amount of her life in the woods, I'm telling you, you will more often meet a man than you will a bear. Because most bears, if they see you or smell you coming, they'll be like, I ain't gonna hang around here.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah,
leave.
no, I think it is funny on one level. On another level, it's very sad. On another level, it is frustrating that so many men are getting so butthurt about it. Well, what do you mean? I mean, I wouldn't be no danger to you in the woods. Well, I don't know that. I don't know you.
Did you say a specific name?
I did not.
That's right. You spoke in general terms.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Well,
people do get,
and most of the people that are talking about it are not people who have spent much time in the woods.
right. And
So
the
that
ones
makes it
who would
even
actually,
doubly more interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think the ones that would give you a problem, they're not reading that anyway. And if they
No.
did, they just go right past it because they don't think of themselves as dangerous people. But then again, they've not been told no yet. And
Right.
that's when you find out what they're really made of. Do
Yeah.
they have patience or not? And if women, the reason for that question is obvious. And the fact that so many women are saying, no, I'd much rather have a bear and meet the bear than the man, that is just a sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
But it's
And,
true.
well, and when you read then their rationale for it,
Mhm.
that's when it gets really
Sad.
it hurts your heart.
It does, but it's how it's their self-preservation kicking in. I
That's
can
right.
totally relate to it, and I bet most of us could relate to it. So, oh well, if y'all don't like it, then don't listen, don't read it, walk
Well,
away.
and if you don't like it,
Do
then
something about it.
why did it trigger you?
Right.
Think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. And that people can do something about it too, but if that's not going to happen.
No.
Yes.
Uh,
So
no.
whatever. A lot of our podcast is spent talking about that subject. About,
The wood.
about yeah, let's talk about the woods. Let's go back to talking. You know what I was going to talk to us about today was dreams, because I've been having a ton of those kind of dreams. I dreamed for Ilsa. That's
Oh,
why I brought her up. That's why I brought her up, because for some reason I dreamed about a woman in a long skirt. She actually looked kind of maybe in her 30s or 40s, but
uh-huh.
she was kind of dressed like Granny Clampett. Okay. With the long skirt and the apron and stuff. And she was walking along and she picked up four. She'd pick up a big, giant, fat, twice the size that I've ever seen one groundhog. She'd just walk to it, scoop it up, hug on it a little bit, look at me and smile, and put it back down again. And she did that four separate times. And then when I woke up, and to me, every time she picked one up, it was a letter. It was ILSA. And so I called her and told her that I had a
Wow.
dream. I'm supposed to tell you this dream. I don't have a clue about what it means. I don't have a clue at all. Do you?
No, I mean, it would depend on how she feels about groundhogs and But I mean, if she's in the process of like leaving her home and
Hmm.
her burrow,
Hmm.
so she needs to make sure she takes all of her stuff with her, all of her groundhogs with her.
I guess. Well, she said that Hulda had an affinity for groundhogs, which I didn't know.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
true.
maybe this has something to do with her glawe that she practices and works with. I
Uh-huh.
don't know. That's what she seemed to think. All I know is that when I woke up, I knew I was supposed to tell her that, and I couldn't remember any other part of the dream. And about
Interesting.
a week before that, I had a dream about one of my minions, and it was scary accurate. It was
Ooh.
just, and I knew when I woke up, I needed to tell him, and I did. And, I go through phases in my life where sometimes I'm able to hear in my dreams whatever I'm supposed to hear.
Yeah.
Evidently, I'm in a real cycle of that right now. That's because there have been other times too in the last few weeks when something like that has happened, so, and I have kind of reverse, what is it called? Reverse deja vu or something. Deja vu is when you do something and you go, wait a minute, have I done this before? For me, it's, wait a minute, I've already dreamed that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a little bit different than standard deja vu, but I've had that several times. And so I don't know. I don't know. Could
Huh.
be something. It could be all the histamines and pollen in the air.
It's blocking up my sinuses and my brain.
That's
No,
right.
I think we were at dark moon and now new moon. And that's always a time
Mhm.
when all kinds of junk is flowing around. So it
Yeah.
makes sense to me.
We're supposed to get a big storm tonight, magnetic storm that potentially the aurora borealis is going to be seen.
That's what I heard, even as far south as here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they say between midnight and 2 a.m. is the best time for seeing it if it's
Yep.
going to exist. So I plan on looking up at least once or twice.
Well, it won't do me any good because I live in the town and,
Yeah.
we wouldn't, God, we would hate to have a little shadowy place where somebody might do some mischief.
Yeah.
Not that they
Yeah.
would, but we just don't want to think that, oh, is it dark back there? Oh,
Light pollution.
yep.
Yep, you're right. You're right. Well, let me ask you what you're going to do for supper tonight. I know you've got company coming in.
I think I'm going to take them out to a restaurant. I think we're going to go do some Mexican food tonight.
Ah, I
Because
made some.
Joe is not going to be here. He's got a thing he's doing this evening. And I think
Okay.
I'm just going to load them folks in the car and which will which means I have to go to the temple and unload the crap that's in the car right now.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna take them up Merriman Avenue to that Mexican restaurant up there.
Hmm. The one that
Yep.
used to be Fraser's Seafood or something?
No, not that far. Uh, or maybe farther than that. No, it's up past the lake on Merriman.
Yeah, on the right hand side.
Yeah. Was
Yeah.
that Fraser's? I mean, well, it
Yep.
was a Mexican restaurant 34 years ago when
Yeah.
we
And
had
then
a baby shower there.
no, it was Fraser's after that. I did the website. So
Huh.
yep, good food. Um, okay. Well, that sounds good, but it didn't tell me what I'm gonna cook. I don't know.
What are you gonna cook? You don't
I
know.
don't know. Mm-mm.
Well,
I
you
don't
could
have a
go
clue.
out to supper.
I could. Yeah. Bleh. I really don't go out when there's any crowd at all. I went out uh I told you I took myself to the movies a couple of weeks ago and I saw Dune 2.
Ooh, did you love it?
Um,
Not really.
yes, I loved it. It was beautiful. I say that about a lot of movies. It was visually stunning. But and it was a good movie as far as sci-fi and epic movies and stuff go. But as a super fan, which is what I consider myself, of the
Yeah.
Dune, I there were some things that were changed that changed the whole timeline.
Oh God.
Yeah, and so yeah, I love it, and I don't, and I do, and I don't. And there's some characters that were just left out, like they didn't exist. And a couple of them that were really changed. And so, yeah, I mean, I really don't know what to say except that it was fine. It was fine. It was what I'd hoped it would be.
Well, good, because sometimes things like that, it is changed enough that it spoils it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Anyway, I love it. So I'm happy to
There
get
you
any
go.
taste of it I can.
Yeah,
So maybe it'll be sandwich night.
yeah, that sounds good.
It does. I guess I will let you go. I know you got groceries or excuse me, laundry. I know
Oh,
you've got
laundry,
laundry.
and it's getting a little bit windy, and it's not as bright as it was, but I'm gonna hang
Mhm.
them out anyway and hope for the best because it's
Yeah.
towels.
Yeah.
Towels take forever to dry in the house, so I'm gonna put them out.
Yeah. All right. Well, you do it. Call me if you need anything, or call me if you get some time, and we'll hang out. And
Sounds
I've got some candles for you here. Yeah, so just let me know.
I'll do it.
All right.
You have a good day. Love ya.
Okie dokie. Hey, thank you for spending your time with us here at Wyrd Mountain Gals. We sure do appreciate it. You know, I know time is the most important thing we have, so I promise that if you take your time to listen to us, we'll take our time to continue to be weird. Many thanks to Sunslice Records for all the help. We couldn't do it without you, Craig. Check out our social media for information, community, or a few laughs. WYRD Mountain Gals.